Hello guys. So in this video I will be showing you how you can create animations in your HTML and CSS by using SVGs. Now I will explain to you what SVGs are, how you can create them and how you can animate them. Now first of all, let me show you what we will be creating. So we have this right here. So let me open this with live server. Hold up a minute. So this is what we will be creating at the end of this course. Pretty cool, right? But this one is a bit complex, but before that we will create something simpler. We will create this circle thing right here. Refresh that for you. First we will start with this, and after you know how, and by the time you have built this, you will know what SVGs are, how you can create them, and you will also would have learned how you can animate them in CSS, and after that you can easily create the one that I previously showed you. But before this, before everything, first thing first, let me explain you what SVGs are. For that I'll use Photoshop, but you don't need to know how to use Photoshop, you just can follow along. So what SVGs are? So SVGs basically means scalable vector images, vector graphics. So what that means is, with SVGs, unlike normal images, you can enlarge it as much as you can, as you want. Sorry for that, as much as you want. So let me show you what it means to not be able to enlarge image as much as you can. So here I have a picture of Ed Sheeran. Now what I would do is, at first I will make it very small. I'll save this. Now I'll make it very big. You see that the quality is being lost. Now this is a normal image, right? Now let me get back. Now let me show you what happens when we use SVGs. Now this is a picture of a monster right here. Now let me make it small. Save it. Now again let me make it big. You see that no quality is lost. Now that kind of image is what you will call an SVG. And let me show you how you can create that in Photoshop. And even if you don't know Photoshop, or you can create it in Illustrator, I think you can also do that in Sketch, and there are also other software for that. But even if you don't know any of this, I will show you where you can get free SVGs. And actually I got this one from a website called flaticon.com, and I'll show you other resources where you can get these images. But let me also show you how you can create this. Let me show you a basic example. So I have a circle right here. So let me show you how I created it. So I'll choose circle and just create a circle. And since it is a shape object in Photoshop, it is automatically a SVG, and I can prove that to you. Let me make it small. Again, if you're not understanding what's going on, it's all right. Just follow along, right? You just need to be focused on the code part of it. You see that when I make it big, it hasn't lost any quality. So now that's what SVGs are like. You can enlarge it as much as you can. But there is a very important property of SVGs that makes it animatable, if you will, in CSS. So let me make a copy of this. Where is it? Let me make a copy of this, and let me apply something called a stroke. Now what is a stroke? Stroke is basically an outline that we can apply to a shape. Let me show you what I mean. So this is shape right here, and look carefully around this circle. I'll apply a stroke to it. See that? Let me make it big, a little bigger. You see that? So the outline that kind of circles the circle is what you will call a stroke, and it can be applied in any kind of shape. Like even if you look at this monster thing right here, you see that this black outline this thing has. Now that's a stroke. And the beautiful thing about stroke is that you can animate it in CSS. So that is how you will create SVGs, and that is how you will create stroke. And I hope you now have a basic idea of what a stroke is. Now, if you're using Photoshop, there is a very quick way to bring this to your HTML. And what you will do is, So it is the image right here, right? Like, this is this circle with this yellow stroke. So what you can do is just right click here and click on copy SVG. Now, after that, what you can do is go to your code and just paste this right here. You see that? Like, I just have a basic setup, and after you paste it, let's see what we will see. I'll open this with my live server. You see that? That photo is right here. Like, so this is how you will import SVGs from Photoshop, or I think it's similar for other applications too. And that is also how you can import SVG to your image after you have downloaded it. So now that we have this in our code, let's see. We need to learn two properties that will help us to animate this. Let's see what those are. So the two important CSS properties that you need to know are, first of them is called dash array, stroke dash array. So it determines in how many segments the stroke should be divided, like like this. Let me show you in code. I think in that way you will have a better idea. So what I will do is, first of all, let me copy this. This one, right? First of all, let me copy this circle stroke with as SVG. And now I've created a new folder. In here I will create index.html. Now what you'll do is just create a basic startup. I do that by using let me show you that once again. I have emit in my VS Code, so I just write the explanation and press tab, and there I have a basic setup. Now inside the body, I wouldn't do a lot of styling stuffs because you know them. I'm just here to teach you how to use SVGs. So in my body, I'll just paste the SVG code that I copied from Photoshop, and you can find this in a link down below. And from now on, you need to follow along, else you wouldn't understand what's going on. Now, so this SVG thing right here is just a wrapper. So this path is where the magic happens. Like, this dictates how an SVG should look, but you don't need to understand how it works. It's all right, even if you don't. You can later get into this stuff. So what I will do is give this path an ID of, let me say, circle simply. Now I wouldn't even create a style sheet. I'll just do my style right here. Now let me tag this circle. Now what I will do is give it a value of stroke dash array, and let me give it a value of, I don't know, 20. Let's see how this will look. You see that it is divided into like these pieces. Now here's what you need to understand. So if I now make this value bigger, the slices will be bigger. You see that? Bigger, even bigger, even bigger. Now there will be a time where it will just be one slice, and if you have a very big value, it is a full circle, because now it can be divided into 1,000 pieces, like 1,000. Now one piece is supposed to be 1,000, and that's like the whole circle, and this is important. Now I hope you get an idea of what stroke dash arrays are. Now the second very important feature is something called dash offset, and this one is pretty simple actually. It just says how far a stroke should start from the point where it is supposed to start. Again, let me show you in code. I think then you will have a better idea of what I'm talking about. Now here is my browser. I think here is my code. Now let me give it a stroke offset value. Let me give it a value of 200. Is what's happening. You see that the circle was supposed to start here, and it was supposed to rotate up to here, but since I offset it by 200, now it's starting at this point. And these things, dash array offset, don't have any unit or like pixel, rem, nothing. It's just numbers, right? Again, to illustrate to you, let me have a bigger number. You see that it went even further, even further, even further, and I guess if I have 1000, it's gone, right? So now if you have ever played with CSS animation, now I think you're having a pretty good idea of how we are going to do this. Now let me have this at 0. Now one thing you need to understand is for stroke dash offset to work, you have to mention stroke dash array, else it would not work. Stroke dash array can work on its own but not offset. All right, now here's the best part. Now let's animate this. So now I'll create a basic animation, give it a keyframes, name it for circle circle, and so what I will do is, as I showed you earlier, if I have a offset value of 1000, this circle is pretty much gone, right? So initially I'll have a dash offset value of 1000 and at the beginning of the animation, and when the animation is about to end, I will have a value of, you probably guessed it by now, a value of 0, so that I can see all of the stroke. Now let me apply this animation. Animation, the name of my animation is for circle. Let us run this for 5 seconds, and I will want to have a timing function of ease in. It doesn't matter, but I just like this. Let's see what's happened. You see that? Pretty cool, right? Now let's create that cool naming animation that I showed you at the beginning of this video. Now first of all, what I'll do is, again, I'm back to Photoshop, and if you don't know how to use it, again, don't stress it, I'll provide this code in the link below. Now let me pick my type tool and write my name. Now I have used Poppins Black, and this font size is pretty big at 200 pixel, and this spacing is also at 200. Now what I will do is, first of all, again, apply a stroke. Okay, I think that looks pretty good, and let me remove this fill. Now unlike earlier, just doing this much won't get the job done. You have to do something additional, and what you need to do is convert this text layer to a shape layer. Now how you will do that? You will just right click it and then click on convert to shape. Now after that, if you copy SVG, then again, let's get back to our code. It is the previous code. Let me make a new file for this. Let's say name.html. Again, a basic setup. Paste my code right here. Let's see how it looks with live server. It looks how it's supposed to look, right? Now actually it's really easy. It's basically the thing you've already done. Now let's just do what we did earlier. First of all, let me give this an ID of, let's say, my name. Then again, as earlier, apply a style, ID of my name. What I'll do is, again, dash stroke dash array of 0, stroke offset initially, sorry, stroke dash array is at 1000 and stroke dash offset is initially at 0. Now let me define an animation. Keyframes, I'm gonna show name at 0%. What I want is my stroke dash offset to be at, again, the value 1000 works great, and at 100%, what I want is, again, probably guessed it, stroke dash offset at 0. Now let me apply this animation to this animation. The name of animation is so circle. Let me show it for 5 6 and just have it as ease in. Now, oh sorry, it's not show circle, it's show name. My mistake, sorry. You see that? Let me refresh that for you. And there you have it. That is how you will animate shapes. That is how you'll animate text by using SVGs. So that's it for this video, guys. That is how you will animate shapes and text and almost anything through by using SVGs. And now let me show you a website from where you can get free resources. There is this website called flaticon.com, and from here you can just pick whatever image you want, and then just you see here, let me see, like this button right here, you just click here and you can download an SVG, play with it. I mean, my suggestion will be, if you can, make it yourself, but again, always feel free to browse these galleries and find something that will interest you. So that's it for today, guys. I mean, I hope you liked it. If you did, feel free to leave a thumbs up, and if you were confused at any point, if you didn't understand anything, please comment down below. I will help you. That's what I'm here for. And thank you for watching, guys. Have a great one.